Hi everyone, I'm Marco Mirabella, founder and CEO of Ensuro, a blockchain-based licensed insurance company. Insurance is a century-old industry dominated by players that are slow, inefficient, and that put a brake on insurtech innovation. However, they have something that a startup might not have, which is trust and reputation. People here, however, they learn that blindly trusting trusted companies, is not always a good idea. There's a countless example of companies that are trusted going bust. And that's where blockchain comes in. Blockchain, with its transparency, improves this. And on this base of this foundation, we created Ensuro. We leverage smart contracts in order to improve the outdated insurance industry. In Ensuro, we collect funds from different investors in a form of a USDC inside a liquidity pool that is governed by smart contracts on top of a public blockchain. This capital is then used to back up vetted risk models that are off-chain. And in order to play in the same playing field of traditional players, we decided to take the regulated path. So in fact, we obtained a license as an innovative insurance general business and digital asset business from the Bermuda Monetary Authority. This allows us to back up real-world risk and go where the big opportunity is. Here's, I want to give you a live example of a product that we launched with our partner, Spot. So Spot is providing a cancellation for any reason product in the travel space that is essentially a user pay a little bit of fee and that are able to cancel their event and get a refund. It's embedded in the flow of different types of websites in a B2B2C model, and it's currently live in one of the biggest ticketing platforms in the US. Essentially, for the user, it seems like a traditional way-to process. They go in the website, they purchase their ticket, and they embed the protection, and they pay in the traditional way they are used to with credit cards. On the back, the blockchain does all the magic in the way that it's supposed to be. Every time a policy is created, we essentially store all this information on chain in the form of NFT, giving full transparency to all the participants in the process. And from a liquidity provider's perspective, the process looks like a traditional DeFi platform. They jump into our website, they select the particular risk, a specific pool, they connect the wallet of choice, and then they deploy funds in the liquidity pool. And essentially, this capital is then used to incrementally back up the policies that are created by our partners. By doing that, the users are entitled to get an interest rate that is distributed to them in a continuous fashion, so like a DeFi protocol. And currently, we have 11 partners located in 4 different countries, with products ranging from agriculture coverage in Kenya to travel protections in Europe, Japan, and the US, to weather protection for a public listed company in Italy called Revo, which is actually a traditional insurance company trusting our solution. And we've been growing. So to date, we've been collecting more than $6.3 million in premiums, covering more than 350,000 policies, with 1.2 million in TVL, generating an interest rate for our investors north of 25%. And we have the right team to push Ensuro to the next level. I was one of the founders of a layer 2 solution. We have our CTO, Gijo, that has 25 years of experience in software development, with 2 startups in his back, and people with a background in quantitative risk management and academia. And our CFO was the CFO of one of the biggest reinsurance companies in the world. We're currently raising, so if you guys are interested in learning more, please reach out to me or add me on Telegram. Thank you.
Marco, that was some impressive traction you just showed us. I have a question for you. You've been live since 2023, right?
Actually, it's been 4 years.
4 years.
Live.
Okay. How is track record in terms of claims? How are the claims behaving?
So actually, this is considered as a loss ratio that is around 80%. So essentially, like on the policies that the premiums that we collect, around 80% like are processed in the form of payout. And this is something that it's, we decided to focus on this niche of market where there's a lot of payout, because in the payouts, then we show our efficiency. Essentially, with the blockchain, we are able to automate the entire process from capital collection to capital disbursement. And then this essentially like let us compete with traditional players and reduce the cost of operations. So in $6.3 million, we like processed like around $4.5 million in payout.
Okay. Do you have a question?
Congratulations on the traction. As our partner judge said, how are you different or a differentiator against Averdas or Chainproof, or are you targeting a different market?
Yeah, so Chainproof is focusing on smart contracts coverage. So essentially, like it's a spin-off of QuantStamp that is leveraging like their insurance license in Bermuda in order to back up the work of QuantStamp. Our focus is on real-world coverages, so travel protections or like agro coverages in emerging markets or cyber protection for like Web2 companies. We believe that's where the real market is. We see like the big part of the volume is over there.
What if you have like a major catastrophe, like a black swan, and you go kaput? Have you thought of that?
Yeah. So essentially, like in case of a major catastrophe, like the role of blockchain comes in the sense that we block the capital of the investors in order to guarantee a payout for the policyholders. Now the investor then will have a loss. However, we try to mitigate this by having different type of products in different type of industries. So if something happens to the Heathrow airport in the UK, like you might not have like, the same like a situation of a drought in Kenya or in Colombia. So you start to diversify the risk in order to reduce these catastrophic like exposures.
Are you so the money that you serve for deposits comes from staking?
Yeah.
So number one, like have you thought about partnering with obviously like Beefy, Yearn, all of the other providers
Like
to
me?
get more? Yeah. No. And second is like, are you tied to that in terms of the amount of policies you can give, or are you looking for also bigger partners that have a lot more capital that can deploy to grow more?
Yeah, so for the first question, like what we are trying to do in order to like bring in the, like different type of DeFi protocols is a way to wrap like the funds in a like KYC fashion, because being regulated in Bermuda put us this restriction. So we're trying to figure out like ways to do that and like leveraging like the regulatory framework in Bermuda. Like in terms of the second part, so it's what we're doing at the moment. So we're trying to partner with different type of insurance companies or bigger players in order to then expand the exposure like of the products that we're doing, and thus the premiums, and on the premiums that where we make our revenues. So yes, we're doing that.
Congrats, Marco.
Thank you.